Hi everybody, happy Saturday, November 9th, and welcome to week 2 of NaNoWriMo vlogging extravaganza. Not really extravaganza. It is like 6 o'clock at night, so look at me being horrible at vlogging. It looks like it's midnight outside. I'm just not used to this at all. But I had a wildly productive morning, which is more surprising to anyone, or is anyone surprised? I'm surprised. I didn't expect to be so productive, but I hit my word count. I did a whole bunch of cleaning. I actually got organized. I had a bunch of stuff to return, which I packed up and brought with me when I went to get my hair done. Got my hair done, did food shopping and all sorts of stuff. I read my book while I was at the hair salon, so I had a wildly productive day and I'm feeling good about it. But from a nano perspective, I've already hit my word count for the day. I think I already just said that. While I was in the hair chairs, I was thinking a lot, of course, about the story and trying to brainstorm some ideas. This is the mode where I can't quite turn off the story, so it's a good thing, but at the same time, I was trying to get a little break, and I brought The Vanishing Stair with me. I'm officially on page 100 of this. I feel bad. I feel like this is going to take me forever to read, but I said this last night and I'm going to say it again. I'm going to try and read a little bit of this tonight before I go to bed. Last night, I was so tired that I woke up in bed with the lights on, with the book open on me at like 11 o'clock at night. So that happened. But hopefully tonight I will get further in the book before I pass out and fall asleep. I'm loving it though. I'm really enjoying it. I'm curious to see what's going to happen. It is the sequel to Truly Devious, so I'm not going to tell you what it's about because you need to read Truly Devious first, and I don't want to spoil anything for anyone, but I'm totally enjoying it. I also saw that Truly Devious is on sale on Book Outlet for like $3.50. So if anybody's interested in it, that and about, 10,000 other books are on Book Outlet. But so I read a little bit of that, did a whole bunch of stuff, brainstorming on my story. It's going well. I might have a murderer. I might have decided who's going to be the killer, but I feel like that's probably going to change. I also had an idea about how to introduce another character, and I continue to shift what's going on because I'm trying to figure things out. I talked about trying to do some plotting today and showing you guys kind of how I do like plotting on the wall. I did none of that, so maybe tomorrow we'll get to that part of things. But I am writing, which is a good thing. Today is also, it's not going to matter by the time this goes up, but it is like a double donation day for NaNoWriMo. So I already did my initial donation, which I do every year, and then I'm going to do a little something today too, and you sort of get like entered into a raffle for something, and they give you like a bonus prize, which basically is like a little pin for Nano 2019, which I'm a geek. I love me a little pin. I got one last year. It was the first year that they did it, or the first year that I was aware of it. So I want to do that, and of course I want to donate to the very, very good cause that is Nano. So if anyone else is writing, I hope it's going well for you guys today too, but good day. And then I did get some book mail, and I'm gonna sound like a brat. I thought I was gonna get more, but my Goodreads win book hasn't shown up yet, and I'm getting paranoid. I don't wanna show you my address, but I got my Amazon box. So I'm not even going to try and justify this, but I'm going to explain it. So I have mentioned to you guys that, like, I think I've done this. If you have stuff in your Amazon cart or like saved for later, every time you go into your cart, it will show you like pricing updates. So if things have gone up or down in price, it'll show you. And I was in my cart the other night because I needed to buy Dixie cups for the bathroom, which I actually forgot to buy because I got distracted by the fact that one of the books on my list dropped in price. And it dropped to what I felt was a reasonable price. So I went in. I'm already annoyed because one of the book covers is completely bent. Ugh, Amazon, I hate you right now. Anyway, that just took some of the fun out of things. I went in for this particular book, and when I went into the books page, there was this thing for a promotion that they're having that it qualifies for the buy two, get the third book free, or get the third item free. So it applied to a whole bunch of things. So immediately I clicked into the promotion, clicked into books, and no surprise, I found a whole bunch of books that I wanted. So I bought two, I got one free. I think all in this wound up being like $33 maybe. And I had Amazon points from my Amazon card, so basically it was free. So the first book, which is the one that started it all, is The Last House Guest by Megan Miranda. And this came out this year. It's a thriller. I don't know too much about it, and I kind of like don't want to totally read it. She wrote All the Missing Girls, which is a thriller I read, I want to say maybe like 2 years ago. I read it when it first came out, and that is a book about a girl, all the tropes here, who reluctantly has to return to her hometown. There's a mystery that happened there years ago, which is why she fled, and now something happens that threatens to sort of like unleash all the secrets from years ago. And what I also love about that book is it's told backwards, which is just genius. So if you haven't read that, check it out. But I really like Megan Miranda's writing. I have her second book, The Perfect Stranger. I haven't read it yet, but I have it on my shelf. And then The Last House Guest, it says, don't overstay your welcome. Oh, so this takes place in Maine, and there's sort of like the people who live there, like the locals, and then there's like the rich people who come and stay in their big fancy houses. And so we've got a friendship between a summer girl and a local girl, Sadie and Avery. And then, so they've been inseparable for a decade, and then Sadie's found dead. And Sadie is the rich girl. So, questions, mystery, small town vibes, a little, sounds like past and present, all sorts of things that I love, and I really enjoy her writing, so I got that. The second book I got, how annoying is this? Does anyone else have this problem with Amazon? I actually returned Someone We Know by Sherry LaPena to Amazon and had them replace it because the cover was torn. But I just have no patience for people who don't show the respect for the books. I mean, just drives me bananas. But anyway, so this is Evie Drake Starts Over. Sorry, I'm trying to fix it. By Linda Holmes. So this is another book I had heard a lot about, and I actually first heard about this, and I think it's because I follow Taylor Jenkins Reid on Goodreads maybe, but I got a thing when this first came out that she did a blurb on this book and recommended it. And her quote on the back is, a quirky, sweet, and splendid story of a woman coming into her own. Linda Holmes' voice is lively and warm, the setting of small town Maine is pitch perfect, and the character of Evie Drake is refreshing in her imperfections, an absolute delight. So here we are back in Maine again, which I didn't even also realize. And what I also didn't know is Linda Holmes, this is a great video, isn't it? Is the host of NPR's Pop Culture Happy Hour podcast. So this is a heartfelt debut about the unlikely relationship between a young woman who's lost her husband and a major league pitcher who's lost his game. So I feel like she's up in Maine and he winds up going up there, and I don't know if it's like a friends to lovers or a frenemies, or they just like hit it off. I'm not like totally sure, but I think it's one of these things where like they're both kind of lost in life and maybe kind of like wind up saving each other, as schmaltzy as that sounds, or at least finding a friendship in each other. I don't know if it's a romance or not, but I basically will read the back of an envelope if Taylor Jenkins Reid tells me to. But it just sounds like a really good book. It's got a lot of other people who are plugging it as well. And I've heard great things from other people on BookTube. One thing I did hear is, I would say some younger folks on BookTube didn't like it as much as maybe some people that are more my generation. So I think it is, I'm guessing she's in her late 30s or 40s, but either way, I think it's gonna be great. And I love me some baseball, as you guys know. Still mourning the Astros. But anyway, I think this will be a good one, even though the cover is bent to the high heavens. And then for my grand finale, and thank you that this is not bent, because I would have lost my marbles. I did it. I did it. I did it. but it was buy two, get one free, and why not? Why not? So I did it. I got Ninth House. I'm completely fascinated by this book. I thought it would have a cooler naked cover, and there's nothing happening here. So I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it at some point. I've heard mixed bag on it. I heard actually someone say in a review I was listening to last night that it's boring, but I've never read any Leigh Bardugo, so I have no expectation compared to other books of hers. So maybe it's boring compared to something else people have read, more of her fantasy books, but this is Yale. This is Secret Societies. This is her first adult novel. There's a map. I'm gonna give it a go. I will be honest, you guys. I have been reading out of my comfort zone quite a lot, I would say, in the past couple months. I have picked up some books that are outside my zone, maybe since the summer, and am so pleasantly surprised. I'm gonna start coughing. Sorry. So I decided I'm gonna continue to do that, and I am going to take back some Snap comments that I made about books that are not for me, and fantasy is not for me, and YA is not for me, and certain types of books are not for me, because I very much was being judgy wudgy. And I'm gonna take all that back because I was wrong. And not every single book that I read outside my zone has been a hit for me, but a lot of them have been, and I was so pleasantly surprised and realized that I was, sorry, I'm like moving my slippers around, making very judgy decisions based on nothing at all, other than the fact that I am a girl of a certain age who likes to read thrillers, and was making some very broad generalizations that a whole bunch of books were not for me. I'm actually even going to amend that. I would say since January, because I'm thinking about Beartown, which is a book I never would have picked up in my own devices had it not been for BookTube and heard so many good things about it. So that's a whole other conversation. But anyway, I finally did it. So I talked a good game. Now I actually have to read the book and let you guys know what I think about it, but I made it happen and I'm super excited. I'm bummed my other book is bent, but despite the fact that Amazon shipping is ho-hum when it comes to how they package stuff, this is quite the bargain. I feel like I just posed for a thumbnail, which I never do. But anyway, I am going to get cracking on dinner and get cracking on the rest of my evening. I don't know if I'm gonna check back in tonight. We'll see. I don't know that anything is going to be worth talking about. And then we'll see where tomorrow takes me. So happy Saturday, guys. Bye. Good morning, guys. It's Sunday, November 10th. Day 10 of Nano. I am just getting ready to go out and do some errands. I did a small amount of writing this morning. I really was trying to write down kind of all the scenes I have written so far, so I have a little bit of track of things, because I don't always necessarily write in order, which is, I understand people who are cringing. It's a hot mess when you do it that way, but it's just the way my brain works. So I wanted to write down all the scenes, and I'm trying to keep things in as good of order as I can. But I did a lot of that this morning, which was just sort of a bit of a time suck. But nothing else too exciting to report because it's early in the morning, or not that early, it's like 10 o'clock. But I'm gonna head out, do some errands. I did take a writing break last night, which I think I said I was going to do. I also feel like this camera's like crazy crooked. I wound up finally watching 1.5 episodes of Nancy Drew, which is the new-ish, I think there's 5 episodes out now, show on the CW, and it's the creators of Riverdale who brought this to the screen. So it's like, it's not your Nancy Drew that you think it is. So it's like Riverdale, it's dark. They are 1 year out of high school in this one. I don't quite know what to think yet. And I'm not sure if it's just like straight up murder mystery or if there is something supernatural going on. I was like halfway through the 2nd episode, but I knew I wasn't gonna be able to stay awake for it. I'm such an old lady. So I wanna watch the rest of that today at some point just to see, but I am intrigued. There's some good music in it, which I like. I like the dark take. I I don't know. My jury is still out. So I'm in enough that I want to see what is going on. But I'm not like as obsessed as when I first watched Riverdale, and I was completely obsessed with that show. So we'll see where it goes. And then also, I didn't realize Scott Wolf from Party 5 is the dad in it. So again, all my 90s crushes are back as the dads in these shows. But he basically looks exactly the same too, which is insane. But it kind of made me feel like I want to watch some old Party of Fives at some stage of the game. So anyway, that's the update for here. I will check in with you guys a little bit later. I also realized that like black on black, I look like I'm gonna go burgle somebody's house. So whatever, I'm gonna go run some errands. I'll talk to you guys later. Hey guys, so this is my version of trying to plot things, and this is actually the other project I was working on. So I'm actually going to take this stuff down today and put something new on the wall for the project I'm doing for Nano. But I don't have an office to work in, so I have to be kind of creative with things. But this is like mapped out, outlined. Obviously you can see there's like some post-its and some notes on it as things were coming, and that developed after I wrote many drafts of that book. And then these are sort of quotes and ideas. My handwriting is so awful, but sometimes it is as easy as like just hearing a quote from a podcast I'm listening to, or some sort of a phrase. I was listening to a Taylor Jenkins Reid podcast this morning actually, and that's what that is from, which I've read Daisy Jones and you guys know it, but I just like to be reminded of it. And then I've mentioned this in another book, another video, the other book I'm writing, there's a fraternity thing, so this brother's above any other. I don't even know what I was watching and that came up, but it's little reminders for things, quotes, inspirations, all sorts of things. So basically what I'm going to do is take all of these down and put them someplace safe. And to note, there's way more of these. This is just sort of the current ones that are hanging up. And I'm going to replace them with some blank pages and some inspirations for the still untitled zero draft thriller that I'm doing for Nano this year. Hey guys, it's Sunday night, or it's like 5 o'clock. I wanted to just, it feels like it's 9 o'clock at night. It's literally pitch black outside. But I just wanted to do a quick check-in for the day. I did hit my word count. I would say just barely. So I do want to write a little bit more. I did get all my errands done today. I did my meal prep for the work week, or at least for the beginning of the work week, and did some stuff around the house. It's manicure time happening tonight. I'm totally amped for the People's Choice Awards. So I'm gonna like hunker down and be ready to be on the couch for red carpet and hopefully multitask while I'm sitting there, and do some writing, because basically I can write no matter what's going on in the background. But while I was out on a walk today, I had another little plot revelation, I guess you could call it. And this is what happens. This is how I function, which is part of what my problem is. I have switched gears again. So I have been trying to figure out how my murder victim fits into the circle of friends. And first she was someone that somebody met at work and they wound up getting married. Then I went back and had her be part of the original circle of female friends that met in college. Then I had her not be the lifelong friend, and then she was the lifelong friend again, and now I'm back to, I am having her randomly meet them one night. And my main character basically makes a decision that night that leads to all of them meeting, and you know, she kind of says it is a decision she would come to regret many years later. So I think I'm gonna do that, which changes some things, but not too much, because there's not a lot of backstory that I was writing. It was more about a lot of present day that I was writing for my person who's going to die. And also I had a thought, which this will change 100 times between now and when I hopefully see the end of this book happen, which will not be the end of November, but this is a project I'm excited about that I want to see through to the end. But I feel like I might have come up with a first line, or at least a first paragraph or first couple lines for the book that excited me when I was out walking. So we'll see if I stick with that. I'm still sticking with one voice that is a male voice, but I'm just gonna roll with it for now. I'm not gonna overthink it. The whole point of the draft is to just write it all out there. And I will say, I also came up with a line that I almost didn't type out because I had that feeling of my mother's going to read this and she's going to be horrified. But then I remembered you have to write as if no one's going to read it and not care who's going to read it. Because if you start to censor yourself in any draft mode, you're doing yourself a disservice. So I wrote the moderately obscene line in the book, and it's in there for now, and I'm trying not to think about who's going to read it, and who knows if it'll make it to the end. But it was actually a line in conversation with a friend of mine, and I'm not going to say it here because A, it's obscene and I don't want to offend anybody, and B, I don't know, it's going to have no relevance to the vlog. But basically, a friend of mine was dating this woman and none of us understood why, and it was a conversation we had had about it. So that happened. So we'll see, but I'm going to try and do a little bit of writing while I'm watching red carpet and stuff like that. I got all of my like physical running around kind of chores done, except I have a little bit of ironing left to do. So exciting to hear this, isn't it? But I am going to get cleaned up, and I don't know that I'm going to check back in with you guys. I'll let you know. I'll let you know. You'll see. But I do not plan on doing another check-in because I think I'm just going to kind of be hunker down. I don't know if I'm going to write any more tonight. We'll see. I might just do some note taking and things like that. But that's my Sunday. I am bummed the weekend is once again come to an end. I literally don't know where the time went. I swear I woke up 5 minutes ago and I blinked and now the day is over. But hopefully it will be a good work week and I will check in with you guys. There are no, that's a lie. There is an event one night this week at work, but I don't think I'm going to have to stay for this one. And then hopefully that'll be it for the event stuff. It's insane. I had no concept of how many events were run at this place. Like, people kind of told me, but I had no concept of it. But other than that, hopefully it'll be kind of a decent week. It's supposed to snow on Tuesday, which I'm also like bummed about. I can't even believe that this is what it's come to. But it's November in New York, so what are you gonna do? But hopefully everyone's having a good night, and I will see you when I see you. Bye, guys. Hey guys, happy Monday. I just got home from work and I'm trying to make a habit of hopping on the camera before I do anything else. So basically, end of day Monday, end of work day Monday, and I wrote again. So it is November 11th, and I am at, wait for it, 31,088 words. So I've hit my word count for the day and then some. I'm way ahead of schedule, which is terrific. I have officially killed my first person and we are in the aftermath. They have just discovered the body, and we're trying to kind of figure out what next. So I have in mind who I think is going to be the murderer, but if history has taught me anything when I write, that may very well change. And I haven't quite figured out motive yet. So whatever. We'll figure it out. We are writing, and that's what's important. Yeah, all good stuff. So not a horrible day at work. It's Veterans Day. We worked, obviously, but it was a little bit quieter because a lot of people weren't around, which I'll take it. That's cool. I'm trying to think what else. Oh, so I did watch a little bit more Nancy Drew. The verdict is still out of what I think about this show. I can't get comfortable to save my life. I can't decide if it's a good show or not, but I want to know what's going to happen next. It feels a little bit like it's trying to be Veronica Mars, because Nancy has like inner dialogue the way Veronica does. And she's like the teen detective. I realize like Nancy Drew was the original teen detective, but I feel like the show is trying to be a little bit Veronica. And let's face it, there is no other Veronica Mars. And then there's like kind of some backstory with the characters that I'm trying to figure out. It's 100% like dark, but trying to be, so sort of there's like this superstition in the town about this woman who died 10 years ago. That's like literally the opening scene. Or she died maybe 15, I think she died in like 2000, so nearly 20 years ago this woman died. And it's kind of like, or maybe it was 15 years ago. Anyway, I don't know, I feel, it doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. So there's sort of like this superstition around the town that the ghost of this woman haunts the town. So again, I don't know if there's a supernatural element to it or if people are just superstitious. I'm not quite sure. I don't really know where the show was going. And it's funny, I was reading a review somewhere, doesn't matter also, but basically it's sort of like the people who bought you Riverdale, you know, bring you Nancy Drew, and there were all these comments like, well, okay, now I'm not gonna watch it, or like, please don't ruin Nancy Drew the way you ruined Riverdale, and like all these like super negative comments. So my jury is still very out on Riverdale this season too. I'm 100% up to date on it, but like, I'm not into it. Like, it's just, I'm like tired of Archie being a vigilante. I'm just tired of, why can't I think of like who the evil person was with the mask from season 2? The Black Hood. I'm tired of the Black Hood. I'm tired of the farm. I'm just like tired of all that stuff. So I feel like these are super old storylines, and like they're trying to get a new storyline with Jughead and his grandfather, and sort of his family history. And honestly, like Jughead's my favorite. So like, let's go there. But I don't really know what's happening. So it feels super disjointed. Season 1 was just definitely the best. So I don't know where that's going, but jury's out on Nancy Drew. I'm still watching it. There is some good music in it, so there's that, but I don't know. That's kind of like what's happening here. And I barely read my book. I think I read 25 pages since I last checked in. So I say this every night. My mission tonight is to do a couple chores that I have to do, namely pull out my snow boots because it is supposed to possibly snow tomorrow and drop like 30 degrees over the course of like from 8 a.m. tomorrow to 8 p.m. tomorrow. So that's gonna be horrible. So I need to pull out my snow boots and some other even more high-tech winter gear than I wore on Friday when it was cold. And then I would like to just take care of a couple things that I need to take care of around the house, and then take a shower and crawl into bed and read The Vanishing Stair. So that is my goal. It is 6:37 right now. I am hoping to be in bed with my book by 9 o'clock at the latest. So here's hoping. No more writing for tonight, but I wrote already for a whole bunch of the day, which was terrific. So there you go. That's Monday. Hey guys, happy Thursday. It is November 14th, so it's day 14. NaNoWriMo. I've got nothing. It's been a crazy week. It's been a crazy week, and I've been a little bit lazy about checking in, and I've just been tired when I got home from work. I didn't feel like filming, but I got home a little early tonight because I had an eye doctor appointment. All things I'm sure everybody's really excited to hear about, but I thought I would check in, and also my book mail finally showed up. This is a story in and of itself. But before we get to that, so day 14 of Nano, still writing every single day. Wait for it, 39,313 words is my current word count. Yes, I'm proud. So I am for sure going to just sit down a little bit tonight because I want to hit 40,000 because I'm high maintenance like that, and I want to break through to that number. But I have just been consistently writing on the commute, sort of the same old story. I was able to write a little bit at lunch yesterday, so it's kind of been going a little bit, and I wrote a little bit when I got home last night. I did a little research. I am struggling with my main I kind of have like 3 main characters, 2 guys and a girl, and I am struggling with one of the guys' names. And I don't know what direction I want to go in. So I've been calling him Nick. I kind of want to change it to James. There's more that goes into it than just like picking a random name, obviously. But I don't know what direction I want to go in. So for all intents and purposes, I'm still calling him Nick in the book. But, and then Pete also actually came up at one point in my brain. So I'm struggling to kind of find a little bit of identity for him. Still have not named my main murder victim. I'm still calling her the name of a girl I used to know, and it's awful, but I'm doing it, but it's fine. It's fine. So I'm just figuring that stuff out. But we are post-dead body. Police have come. My group of friends who are suspects and friends of theirs who are suspects are trying to kind of figure out what happened at this point. So I have 2 people in mind who maybe killed my person. I don't know if they will finally be the person who did it, but I'm kind of toying with that right now. Working out some motives, working out some kinks, working out some details, lots of gaps in the story. But we're rolling. So that's what matters, is just getting it down there, getting the first draft out, just kind of putting all the ideas out there. So that's happening, but I'm very excited about the writing. Other than writing and basic needs like having to work, sleep, eat, shower, buy food. I basically have been living a circle of neglect in the rest of my life. I barely read. I barely communicate with my friends in the outside world. Sorry, fam. You've been taking a hit on this one too. But I don't know. It's just I have a knack for going down a rabbit hole and getting a little bit obsessive about things. And I have talked about my struggle to kind of multitask and organize lately. So all those things are still happening. And then I went down the Nancy Drew TV show rabbit hole. I am up to date other than last night's episode, which honestly I'm probably gonna watch tonight, because at this stage, I wouldn't call it hate watching it, because I don't hate it, but I don't love it the way I loved Riverdale. But I'm sucked in and fascinated, though not totally sold on it, but want to know what's going to happen next. So I'm kind of all over the place. But what I will tell you is that it's definitely supernatural, so that's a thing. I definitely don't know what direction it's going in. I'm not 100% sure how I feel about all the characters. I'm not 100% sure how I feel about the supernatural part of it. So I have a lot of thoughts, but I'm also really curious about it. So I don't know. I actually started to rewatch episode 1 in the background when I was doing a little cleanup last night. So I'm sort of in that weird, sort of obsessed kind of a zone with that. I'm also caught up on Riverdale other than last night's episode. I'm on Struggle Street. I do want to know where it's going to go. I have no idea where it's going to go. It feels very convoluted to me still, but I'm sticking with it. And that's kind of it on the TV front. I did watch the People's Choice Awards, which wasn't as exciting as I thought it was going to be, but I love Jennifer Aniston. I watched it for her. I love Pink. I watched it for her. I love Gwen Stefani, who won Style Icon. So I did watch it for my celeb obsessions that I have, but all in as an award show. I didn't think it was all that exciting, but I am trash for award shows, so of course I watched it. But book-wise, so I'm halfway through The Vanishing Stair by Maureen Johnson. I am slowly working my way through it. Not a reflection on the book, still enjoying the story. I am just hyper distracted with writing and ideas in my own head, so I'm also finding it hard to read because it is just like an occupational hazard of wanting to write a story. Is everything is story to me, and I'm constantly like thinking about it and working things out in my head and making up conversations and listening into people's conversations. So I've just been a bad reader. So we're just gonna see. I finished 1 book this month and it's the 14th, so we'll see what happens there. But I finally got my book mail. This has been a struggle. So last Saturday, this was supposed to get delivered from the post office. And every day since, I've gotten a message that it's coming. And at the end of the day, I'll get a message that it is delayed. So this better be worth it. But I'm so frustrated to the point that I was going to march down to the post office on Saturday and see what was up. But now I don't have to because it's here. Thank you, Goodreads, for CJ Tudor's new book, The Other People. I'm so excited, so excited. So this comes out February 2020 is the tentative publication. I believe it might already be out in the UK. So this is her latest book. Yeah, on the side it says on sale 1/28/2020. So I don't even know what it's about. I don't even care what it's about. I loved The Chalk Man. This is just such proof that people actually read or win Goodreads challenges. So I didn't read The Hiding Place, which was her second book, and I heard a lot of mixed bag on that one. It's one of those books that I would like to read at some stage of the game, and I was like this close to buying it, and then I saw a bunch of negative reviews, and as much as I'd like to say I'm not swayed by things that everybody says, I was in that case. And also it came out in hardcover in the US just this past year, so like not what I wanted to like knee-jerk $15 impulse purchase on with bad reviews or negative reviews. So I'm gonna keep an eye out for it. I'm gonna try and see if I can get it from the library at some point. But this I'm so excited to read, and I don't even know what to tell you because I don't even know what it's about. I just automatically signed up for it, and it's probably not even gonna tell you. Whatever, doesn't matter. So stay tuned for when I eventually get my head out of the writing side of my computer and get back into the reading side of life, and I will let you guys know about this. But so excited, so excited. So I feel like that's kind of what's up. I am going to take advantage of being home a little bit early and make my lunch for tomorrow and do a bunch of chores. Lie, I'm going to do some laundry. It's already cooking, and that's probably all I'm gonna do. So that's my update for today. Sorry, I am such a scatterboxy mess. The downside of doing these types of videos is you see what it's really like. This is what it's really like in my world right now. So I will keep you guys posted on what all is going on, and I'll see you in the next check-in.